Hey there, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Myra Ansari here for Wave Now. It's been a bit since I've seen you back at work today after my kiddos were on fall break. So good to see you all. Thank you guys for joining me here on this live stream. So today we are bringing you a press conference. This is really important for children here in Kentucky. The Louisville Collaboration to Prevent Child Abuse, Youth and Family Violence, which consists of several organizations, the Family and Children's Place, the Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana, the Center for Women and Families and Exploited Children, and the To Help organization, ECHO. They're hosting this press conference today that's going to be starting here at 11 a.m. to formally announce a $2 million federal appropriations grant. So the Family and Children's Place requested this money from the Department of Justice Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention on behalf of the group. The request was later championed by former Congressman John Yarmouth and was attached in HR 2617. This is information provided to us. Just wanted to give you a little context of this press conference that's getting started here. So this is going to help prevent child abuse and neglect here in Kentucky. And several folks are going to be speaking today. Pam Darnell, CEO and President of Family and Children's Place, Elizabeth Martin, the President and Chief Empowerment Officer for the Center for Women and Families, Sonia Gray, Executive Director of ECHO, and Daryl Unseld, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Boys and Girls Club, Joni Jenkins, Senior Advisor to Congressman Morgan McGarvey. Several folks are going to be gathered today to talk about how this money is going to be used to help children in Kentucky. We wanted to bring you this press conference today. So I hope you guys are doing well. Missed you all. So I had about a week off. And so it's good to be back with you all to bring you some updates here on our streaming platform. So I hope everyone is doing well. This is supposed to start at 11 o'clock. So we should get started here shortly. All right, folks, I apologize. Looks like they're running just a little bit behind today. So again, I wanted to bring you this press conference of several organizations that are coming together to explain how they're going to be using $2 million in federal dollars to kind of help children in Kentucky. It looks like someone's at the podium.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah,
anyone who would like to take a seat, please. We're only going to be here about 3 hours. No, it's just a joke. No, just a joke. We have a beautiful day today. We are just so glad that you are all here today to help us to celebrate this wonderful new investment in our community that will help children and families right here in our Louisville metro area. So welcome, everybody. I'm Pam Darnell, President and CEO at Family and Children's Place. We have been here for 140 years, helping children and families in our community. We believe that every child deserves to be nurtured, loved, and cared for, no matter who they are or where they live, despite the resources that they have or may not have, and regardless of the circumstances of their birth. And we know that supporting healthy families is the end of child abuse in our community. It's prevention, and it is how we will end child abuse in our community. And we know that child abuse is preventable. Recently, Kentucky's ranking changed from number 5 to number 6 in the national ranking of child abuse in our country. So while that change from 5 to 6 is positive, there is still so much that we really need to do, because the unimaginable tragedy is that sometimes children die as a result of child maltreatment. In fact, every single day in our country, 5 children die as a result of child maltreatment. Another way to think about that is every year we lose 73 classrooms full of children due to child maltreatment. In Kentucky's most recent child fatality and near fatality review panel meeting and their report, it shows that 69 children in Kentucky died as a result of child maltreatment. And that panel reviewed 215 total cases across Kentucky, and 70 of those happened right here in Jefferson County. But you all, these are not just statistics. These are real children, real lives who are hurting and who are traumatized, most often by the very people who are supposed to love them and keep them safe. That is why our mission is to protect and heal children and families. And this is why we work very closely with so many partners in our community. We know that by working with others, we can help create a community that is safe and healthy for children and families and everyone here. But we are here today to celebrate with our partners and to celebrate a brand new collaboration. Family and Children's Place, Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana, the Center for Women and Families, and Exploited Children's Help Organization have come together to create the Louisville Collaboration to Prevent Child Abuse, Youth, and Family Violence. Last year, this group got together and requested a $2 million federal earmark grant through the federal government. That grant was championed by Congressman John Yarmouth, who is here with us today. Thank you. It is funded through the Department of Justice, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. This revenue will actually help us implement a framework to ensure a coordinated system of interventions that are really helping those who are impacted or those who are at risk of child maltreatment and family violence. The goal of our partnership is to provide a well-coordinated system of care, including evidence-based practices that will prevent juvenile justice system involvement, child maltreatment, and family and youth violence, and will help us assure non-duplication of services and efforts. Our evaluation will measure all of our efforts. It'll measure how we coordinate with each other. It will measure the prevention, the education, as well as all of the outcomes that we have established for this partnership. So we want to give a huge thank you to Congressman Yarmouth for his tireless leadership during his 16 years in Congress, including his leadership as chair of the House Budget Committee in his last 4 years there. We are forever grateful, not only for his personal generosity, but for his outstanding representation for citizens in his district. We especially want to thank him for his leadership and for the support of this earmark grant. Thank you so much. We also want to thank President Biden for signing the appropriation bill in which this grant was included. In addition, we want to thank Congressman Morgan McGarvey for continuing the efforts the 3rd Congressional District has championed to end child abuse and neglect. While in our Kentucky State Legislature, Congressman McGarvey fought hard for Kentucky's children and families, and we are grateful that these efforts are continuing in his new position in Congress. We also want to thank all of the current and former elected officials who are here with us today. Thank you again, Congressman Yarmouth, Deputy Mayor and former Metro Council President David James, State Representative Keturah Herron, State Representative Rachel Rorks, and Metro Councilman Philip Baker. It is because of you and so many of your current and maybe former colleagues that we can do the work we do. Your support is crucial to enable all four of these organizations to come together so we can provide life-changing services so that children and youth have the support and services they need to be healthy, safe, and to be successful in life. So now I want to welcome all of our CEOs of our partnering agencies to come and say a few words. So first we'll start with Elizabeth Martin. She is the President and Chief Empowerment Officer for the Center for Women and Families. The Center for Women and Families serves victims of domestic, interpersonal, and sexual violence in Kentucky and in Southern Indiana. Elizabeth has an extensive career in senior management, developing programs, expanding services, all to meet the needs of children and families who have suffered trauma related to violence, oppression, racism, and poverty throughout the state of Kentucky. She is a longtime resident of Louisville and a graduate of Kent School of Social Work at U of L, where she earned her social work master's degree. Prior to becoming the leader at the Center for Women and Families, Elizabeth held leadership positions at Bellwood, Brooklawn Child and Family Services, Sunrise Services, and Hosphorus Health, Inc. Elizabeth is a licensed clinical social worker specializing in women's issues and trauma work with children and adults. Please join me in welcoming Elizabeth Martin.
Thank you, Pam. And thank you to everyone coming out today on this beautiful fall morning. It's so good to see everybody. I'm so excited to begin this work, and I'm thrilled to be speaking to you about this project during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I hope everybody wears your purple, come out to speak their name at the end of the month. We want to see you to recognize all of those who have suffered through domestic violence. I join Pam in welcoming all who are gathered, all the dignitaries, elected officials, and board members from all four of the organizations. We couldn't do this work without your support. The increasing number of victims to violence and the urgency to address the root causes are why our four agencies have come together. The Center for Women and Families, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Kentuckiana, Exploited Children's Help Organization, and Family and Children's. And I want to tell you a little bit more information. So this literally started through a conversation that the four organization CEOs had after a meeting talking about how can we improve the work that we do, how can we continue to reduce violence, how can we save lives, and recognizing that family violence is at the core of just about every violent act. The Center for Women and Families, we know that by combining our efforts and working together, we can accomplish so much more. And so I too extend my deep and heartfelt thank you to Congressman Yarmouth, Congressman McGarvey, and the public stakeholders that wrote letters of support. Again, without your advocacy in this work, we wouldn't be able to do this. Studies show that up to 60% of families in the U.S. have experienced both domestic violence and child abuse. 7 million children in the U.S. live in families where severe intimate partner violence has occurred. One study found that children who live in homes where family violence occurs, the likelihood of being arrested as a juvenile is 59%. 28% as an adult, and of those crimes, 30% are violent crimes. Those are staggering statistics, and we know that all too well here in Louisville. With this grant, the center will reach more adults and families who are experiencing domestic violence and begin to mitigate the impacts of such trauma. My community partners in this collaboration will be able to reach more youth with the goal of ultimately decreasing community violence and deaths. The work that we will do will create hope and healing for families and give them tools and resources to change their potential trajectory, as well as create a safer community for everyone. In closing, I want to restate that I ultimately envision that we will accomplish our goals through this collaborative work, which is always the best way to do it, and establish our city as a model where every home and community are safe places to live. So again, thank you for your support. Thank you to Congressman Yarmouth and Congressman McGarvey.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for all the incredible work the Center for Women and Family does every day, and thank you for your dedication to this partnership. Next, we will have Sonia Gray come speak with us. Sonia has been the executive director of Exploited Children's Help Organization since 2016. In her role, Sonia is very active in the community, partnering with nonprofit organizations, local schools, youth serving organizations, all while serving in various leadership roles. She is a firm believer in giving back to the community, and she volunteers her time with numerous organizations. She brings attention to detail, superb, inventive style, and a hands-on approach to everything she does. Please join me in welcoming Sonia Gray.
Good morning. I want to say that one more time because this is a wonderful morning to have these announcements. So good morning, everyone. Thank you. That makes me feel warm. As Pam mentioned, my name is Sonia Gray, and I am the executive director for ECHO. This is truly a great opportunity for us. We are excited to have the opportunity to collaborate more closely with our community partners to provide child abuse prevention education and to take a holistic approach of providing resources to the children and families of Metro Louisville to combat child abuse or any victimization to any child, because ultimately the role of the adults is to make sure that children are safe. And we want to make sure that every child in Louisville can grow, learn in an environment free of abuse. We have been around since 1983, and we are actually celebrating our 40-year anniversary this year. So what a wonderful gift for our organization. I also look back in our history, and I'm equally proud about this partnership and this opportunity because this is the largest grant gift that ECHO has ever received in history. So this is also monumental for the organization as a whole. We as an organization, we are one of the only in Jefferson County that partners with public and private schools, and we go into the classroom and we talk to the kids about body safety and internet safety. As you can imagine, with the advancement of technology has also came the advancement of issues for children to be able to recognize the dangers, the digital dangers, but most importantly, what to do if they have been approached or if they have been compromised. What are the rules and regulations that they need to know for their own public safety, and also to know that their body is theirs. They have the choice, and to make that choice of whether whom or who will touch or even how they approach them. So the foundation that we teach our kids are on our 5 safety rules. And many of us have been groomed to know about stranger danger. That program has not been in our school system for over 10 years, but we have not replaced another program to help our kids to identify what those dangers are. And as you all know, 90% of children that are abused typically are abused by someone they know and trust. And of that, 30% tends to be family members. We have a lot of work to do, but my work is to empower our kids to know what their rights are, not only knowing what their rights are, but giving them the empowerment to be able to speak up and speak out if something has happened to them. And then lastly, helping them to identify who their safe adults are. So if there is an issue, that they know exactly who they can speak to and know that that adult is going to advocate on their behalf. So along with my community partners, I am super excited. We are a small agency compared to the other 3. So I feel like we are playing right on with the big dogs. And we're going to do our part to make sure that kids in our community, first off, know their rights to their body, but also know how to advocate for themselves. And to my community partners, I look forward to working with each and every one of you all. And I know that by this model, we are creating something that is new, that's going to be noticed, and probably is going to be duplicated. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for the incredible work that ECHO has been doing for 40 years, and we celebrate with you all in that this year. And powerful things do come in small packages. So thank you. Next, we want to hear from Daryl Unseld Jr., President and CEO of Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana. Prior to his service at Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana, the 11-year U.S. Air Force veteran held positions at Metro United Way, Louisville Metro Government, and the YMCA of Greater Louisville. Daryl earned his Bachelor's of Science degree from the University of Louisville and an MBA from St. Leo University and certificates in nonprofit executive leadership and fundraising management from the Indiana University School of Philanthropy. He and his wife, Cicely, are proud parents of 2 young daughters, Jasmine and Natalia. Please join me in welcoming Daryl Unseld Jr. to share a few words.
First of all, thank you, Pam. And I share many of the sentiments from my colleagues that have already had the opportunity to speak today. But more importantly, I want to shout out Pam Darnell. This does not happen without her leadership. And she is so really thankful and grateful for that. But, you know, this investment in what I believe is the greatest commodity in our community, investing in young people who deserve the right of self-determination, young people who deserve to be the architects of their own conditions. And this is an opportunity for us to invest in their potential, their humanity, and their aspirations. We are a small part of this collaborative, but more importantly, I think what this does, it models the way for other investors to think strategically and intentionally about how do we support young people. Personally, I am not satisfied with the life outcomes that we are getting from our young people here in Louisville. We had 60 youth murders last year. I think 40 of those were Black males. I'm not sure where we are this year, but I'm sure the statistics are continue to grow. But more importantly, this is historic. I am thankful and grateful to be a small part of the folks who get to implement this. And the Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana is poised to expand our footprint to serve more young people in the city of Louisville. So I promise to keep my comments brief. So thank you for having me today. So much so.
Daryl, thank you so much. And all of our partners, regardless of the size of how many they serve, they are equal to us. Everybody is equal in this partnership. We are all in it together. And I couldn't be more proud and honored to be here with these 3 amazing leaders today. So we are just grateful that we've got these great partnerships with these awesome leaders. So thank you, Daryl. Thank you for the crucial work that Boys and Girls Clubs of Kentuckiana does for so many youth and families in our community. Now we have a few other guest speakers that we'll move through, but I want to thank again the CEOs of our partners. Thank you all so much. I would like to invite, now I would like to invite Robert Gunn, Chief Equity and Impact Officer for Metro United Way, to come forward and say a few words. He's here today on behalf of Metro United Way CEO Adria Johnson. So Robert earned his undergraduate degree at Earlham College and was then selected to join Teach for America, earning his master's degree in teaching from Lindenwood University. Robert began his teaching career in St. Louis, Missouri in 2002, and then joined JCPS. He earned a second master's degree in principal certification from Bellarmine in 2007. The following year, he was appointed assistant principal at Olmsted Academy North in 2011. In 2011, he joined the JCPS Principal Intern Program. And for the next 10 years, he served as principal at Foster Traditional, Bick Elementary, and the W.E.B. Du Bois Academy. At Metro United Way, he leads transformative work across the greater Louisville area. Please join me in welcoming Robert to share a few words.
See you. Good morning, everyone. Miss Sonia, when she came up, she said she was going to get y'all warmed up. I need y'all hot. Good morning, everyone. All right. My name is Robert Earl Gunn Jr. I always start out by saying it is a great day to be alive. And any Spanish speakers in the audience, es un gran día para estar vivo. First and foremost, I bring greetings from Miss Adria Johnson, our CEO at Metro United Way, where we have 3 pillar areas. The first one, we want to make sure that we have thriving kids in our community. We want to make sure we have strong households, and we want to make sure that we have an equitable community. I can think of no better partnership or no better way to be engaged than my colleagues to my right and behind me, and the partnership that they have to make sure that the youth in our community will have the ability to be supported, to be empowered, and to be inspired by the work that they're doing. So thank you all very much for that work. Last thing that I want to say is just in terms of Metro United Way, our role in this partnership was simply to write a letter of support. We are not one of the funded organizations, but for any other partner organizations out there, it is just really important that in this ecosystem that we're developing to make sure all people in our community are able to thrive, it's not just about certain individuals or certain organizations. It's truly about us supporting one another. So very proud to be a part of this. Again, congratulations to you all. Look forward to the work, and thank you all very much.
Thank you, Robert, for being here today to speak on behalf for Adria. We're so grateful that Adria was able to provide a letter of support for our request. And now I want to welcome our Jefferson County Commonwealth Attorney, Jarena Weathers. Family and Children's Place has a really close partnership with our Commonwealth Attorney, mainly at our Child Advocacy Center services, which is just behind you in that building. Jarena is the first Black woman to hold the position of Commonwealth Attorney. She comes from a career of over 20 years in public service. Prior to her appointment as Commonwealth Attorney, as Cabinet Secretary, she led the Kentucky Personnel Cabinet in the development of innovative practices and procedures, protecting the health and well-being of over 24,000 state employees. As Cabinet Secretary, she led the Kentucky Employees Health Plan, representing 7% of the entire state population. Also, Kentucky Work Compensation Plan, Kentucky Employee Assistance Program, Kentucky Deferred Compensation Plan, the Department of Human Resource Administration, and the Office of Diversity, Equality, and Training. Among her vast community involvement, she currently serves on the board of Gilda's Club Kentuckiana. She is an active member of the Louisville chapter of the NAACP, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and Susan G. Coleman. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Jarena Weathers.
Thank you so much. To our true game changers and powerhouses of the Family and Children Place, ECHO, Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana, the Center for Women and Families, and of course, Congressman John Yarmouth, Congressman Morgan McGarvey, and our huge powerhouse that you'll hear from later, Joni Jenkins, who has created and protected laws for our children and our families here for over 3 decades. Our distinguished guests, and to all here who have committed themselves to the intentional, authentic service of fostering and changing the lives of our children across this Commonwealth. Good morning. This $2 million investment is a testament to our commitment of the power of the groundbreaking collaboration between our agencies. Of the 4.1 million people in the population here in the Commonwealth, over 1 million is 17 and under. Those are our children, the ones we protect. We understand that working together harmoniously can create an environment that will nurture and foster a place where our children know that they are truly and authentically loved. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd be remiss to not mention my predecessor, Tom Wine, who on April 11, 2022, wrote a letter of support for then Congressman John Yarmouth for this much needed funding. I'll share with you, I've known him for over 20 years. I worked with him as a staff attorney in circuit court. And then when I moved over as a prosecutor in the county for the domestic and sexual assault abuse program, I knew him very well, and we worked very, very well together. And then as I moved to Frankfurt and as the executive director of victim services and at the Attorney General's office, it was very, very poignant that he and I continued to work together. And then we moved on, and I headed up the Elder Protection Group. It is my life service to work with the survivors and those who are hurting. That is what we do at the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. So I thank him. Although he is not with us here, he is looking down and very, very excited as we move forth with this project. I do want to share with you that this initiative will have a profound meaning. Our office is committed to the service of protecting our children. A full team is specifically dedicated to our survivors and our children and those who suffer from domestic violence. That's our office. We also have a prosecutor that specifically trains, not just in this country, but internationally on the issues of human trafficking. We now have a new position, our prosecutor, that would only deal with prevention of juvenile justice. We just heard just recently how important it is that there is an absolute connection of our families, especially our Black families, and our juveniles that are hurting. They are hurting. So we want to work with them and help them before they get to our office. So this initiative will have a profound and lasting impact on our community through education and educating our adults and parents and providing a safe place for our children and improving the lives of countless children and families across this nation and in the city of Metro government. And in closing, I want to express my true, sincere gratitude to the family of Children's Place for their dedicated service and all those who have worked tirelessly to make this funding possible. It is because of you and your vision that you have decided to walk into the blueprint that has been created for you for this moment today. So I'm looking forward to this commitment to protecting our most vulnerable and nurturing a community where every children can grow and thrive. And working for each of the partners and everyone that is here today, I am ready to work. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much, Dorena, for so many years of amazing statewide and community leadership and service. We look forward to continuing our work with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office as well. I now would like to ask Secretary Eric Friedlander to come forward and say a few words. Eric is the former Chief Resiliency Officer for Metro Louisville Government and currently serves as the Secretary of the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Appointed by Governor Beshear in 2020 to the role of Secretary, he draws upon his financial acumen to lead a $17.5 billion cabinet that serves every single Kentucky citizen in some capacity through its 93 agencies, departments, branches, and functions. And this includes the Departments for Public Health, Medicaid Services, Behavioral Health, Development and Intellectual Disabilities, Community-Based Services, and Aging and Independent Living, and the Office of the Inspector General. Eric, you have your plate totally full. Eric is committed to major social service and population health policies and programs that are aimed at transforming the health and well-being of Kentuckians. He is a champion of all citizens and the more than 8,000 cabinet employees. Please join me in welcoming Secretary Friedlander.
Y'all still awake? Good morning. All right, just checking. Chief Resilience Officer, that was like my favorite job title ever. I have to tell you, it's the best one. But here's another reason why. And it's been a couple of years ago, and you all may not be familiar, but we came up with what we called our resilience equation, our Louisville resilience equation. Resilience equals equity plus compassion plus trust. And these are things that these organizations exemplify. And as we kept doing the resilience work, the theme that we came up with, that we knew we had through everyone we were dealing with, all the populations, the folks that you all serve, the thread for a lot of homelessness, substance use, children in foster care, the thread was abuse, the thread was trauma. right? Everybody who'd gone through this trauma and our systems that produce trauma and our institutions that produce trauma. And while it's fantastic to go from like 1 to 5 to 6 in abuse and neglect, that's the right direction. It's still the bad measure, right? We've got to work together to make that difference. And what's really exciting about a collaboration, I think I've heard that defined as collaboration is the unnatural act between consenting organizations. It's difficult to do. And in the nonprofit sector, when you have a board and you have a board and you have a board and you to say we're going to come together around an initiative and we're going to work together, and it's not Families and Children's Place, it's not Center for Women and Families or ECHO or Boys and Girls Club. It is we're going to work together to make a difference for kids. That's what we should be doing, working together to lift up our children and families. And so I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate what you all are doing and have for a while. I've stolen some of your employees, but some of yours too, by the way. But that's what we need to do, right? When we lift each other up, when we work together, when we identify the issues that we have and we're honest about it, that's how we start to be able to work on making things better and different. So thank you for taking the risk on collaboration. It is not easy. And I want you all to know you have a partner in the cap, 20 billion, by the way, 20. You have a partner at CHFS, and I look forward to continuing working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Friedlander, for all that you do for so many in our state and for the opportunity to actually have partnerships with the cabinet. We are very grateful for that opportunity. And thank you for the letter of support for this grant. Now we want to let you guys know that unfortunately Mayor Greenberg could not be here with us today. However, we have Barbara Sexton Smith here who will come and speak on his behalf. We do want to also thank former Mayor Greg Fisher for authoring a letter. This was a year and a half ago in support of this initiative. And I want to say a few words about Barbara today as she comes to speak with us. She reports directly to the mayor and serves on the senior leadership team, which really sets the city's strategic direction. She leads 8 offices that operate within the mayor's office, including the offices of equity, philanthropy, sustainability, women, immigrant affairs, early childhood learning, community initiatives, and the Human Relations Commission. Barbara most recently served a 4-year term as the Louisville Metro District 4 Councilwoman. And throughout her professional career, she has been a supporter and a dedicated friend of nonprofits in our community. We are pleased to have her here on behalf of Mayor Greenberg today to share a few words. Please join me in welcoming Barbara.
Thank you, Pam, and good morning, y'all. Good morning. Congressman Yarmouth, it's always a good day when I can look out in the audience and see you. Thanks for being there today and all the days before then. I also noticed someone who's here today, Councilman Philip Baker. Thank you so much for being here. And I know it was not my assigned task to call out names in the audience, but my goodness, we have some living legends who are making all this work possible and really come together. Included in this audience today, ladies and gentlemen, right there she stands, our state representative, Keturah Herron. Former leader Joni Jenkins, while I'm at it, representing Congressman Morgan McGarvey. But I also want to bring greetings from Mayor Craig Greenberg. And Mayor Greenberg has a big, bold vision that more than 5,000 employees of Louisville Metro government get up every day or midday or late at night, depending on the shift they're working, because we do have more than 5,000 employees working in Louisville Metro government that are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing the types of things we're talking about here. Everything that the city does finds its way to thread through that patchwork quilt that makes this a safer, stronger, healthier community for everyone. I was waiting for Secretary Friedlander to give my favorite speech of his, where he says, not everyone, but he says all, not a few, not some, all. Well, Mayor Craig Greenberg joins that vision, Secretary, and it's Mayor Craig Greenberg's vision that everyone in every neighborhood will have the opportunity to reach their full human potential, and it starts at a very, very early age. Also in Mayor Greenberg's area of responsibility, which he gave me on my leadership team, is the Mayor's Office for Women, and with us today is Director Gretchen Hunt, who stands here with us and beside us as we go upon this journey. She leads many initiatives and efforts, but most importantly, including increasing awareness for domestic violence and reducing acts of domestic violence, being a place where women can turn to. Gretchen Hunt is a great resource for all things in this community related to, look at all the heads shaking, yes, related to gender equity issues. So thank you, Gretchen, for your leadership. I was wondering, Pam, you left out the last line on my resume. And Councilman Baker, can get anyone yet to say this, because I think people don't believe it's true. It is true. Yes, standing before you as a woman of courage, conviction, dedication, confidence, respect, and spirituality. That's the life I am living. I live that life every day. For more than 40 years, I've been interacting with most of these organizations who are here as your former senior fundraiser of United Way. I watched firsthand where lives were destroyed at a very early age, and it took decades to put those lives back together. So I applaud each of you for saying with a big smile, we are going to collaborate. Yes, we are. Yes. Did y'all notice when Cabinet Secretary Friedlander mentioned collaboration, Pam, they all started smiling very big. That's what we do when we're nervous. And that's what we do when we know the journey is going to be hard ahead of us. But we're going to be in this journey together. And the Greenberg's administration is here to support you, to partner with you. We are in the business of promoting effective partnerships. That's what we want to do. Your local government wants to do for the people what the people cannot do for themselves. There's things like big roads and garbage to be picked up, and our police and fire and EMS and all the other services we provide together. But we want to find ways to help you all, especially through our Office of Philanthropy. That's not where you come to receive funding. That's where you come for us to partner with you to go find bigger pools of money. Look what you did, $2 million. And I'm just saying that's a lot of money that we can do a lot of great work with. So together, we really will build a great connected community for all. And that will be a community that is safe, healthy, educated, and free from poverty and free from oppression. So once again, congratulations, Pam. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. We appreciate you being here. We are so grateful to the mayor's office for providing the letter of support a year and a half ago to help us with this. And thank you so much for those wonderful words. And now I want to bring Joni Jenkins to say a few words for us. Joni is here today to speak on behalf of Congressman Morgan McGarvey, who unfortunately, as you all could probably imagine, needed to be in Washington, D.C. this week. But we're so glad to have Joni here with us today. She served for 27 years as a dedicated state representative in our state legislature from the 44th District, starting in 1995 all the way to 2022. She was the first woman to ever lead a caucus in either chamber. And she was House Minority Leader from 2019 until the time she retired in 2022. During her legislative career, Joni was a champion on issues of domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, and substance use disorder. We cannot thank you enough, Joni. Thank you so much for your leadership and for your courage to stand up, sometimes when nobody else would. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please join me in welcoming Joni this afternoon.
Thank you so much for that great introduction. I am here representing Congressman Morgan McGarvey. As you can imagine, there are a few things going on nationally that he needed to be in DC to take care of. We tried so hard in planning this press conference for a day that he would be here. So he wanted very, very much to be here to celebrate this great historic collaboration. I had the honor of working with him in the state legislature when we were both minority leaders. And very often when we were tackling big issues, we would say to each other, do we have everybody we need at the table? Because sometimes if you don't have everyone there, you cannot solve a problem. And I think this is a great example of leaders coming together, making sure everyone is at that table. And I know in a few years, we're going to be back here celebrating the gains that you all have made through your work together. This could not have been done without Congressman Yarmouth, who is giving us such a stable office here in Louisville to work with our constituents. We strive every day as a district office to live up to the standards that Congressman Yarmouth set for Louisville and for the nation. We are so honored by the work that he did as budget chair in DC, and we just cannot thank him enough for bringing this money back to Louisville to help our most very vulnerable people here in Louisville and making great strides for us as a community. As I look out at all of these folks out here, my goodness, if we can't solve this problem with these folks, we're going to do it. It's going to happen. And we will be back here together with Congressman McGarvey to celebrate the gains that you all have made. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joni, and thank you for all of your amazing leadership, both here and now in DC, supporting Congressman McGarvey. As we close today, you all, I just want to thank you. All of you all who wrote letters of support, again, Congressman Yarmouth, many of you here today who are board members, my wonderful partners here as CEOs, I just can't thank you enough. But I want to end today with one of my favorite quotes. Nelson Mandela said, "Safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of collective consensus and public investment. We owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear." Well, that's what we're doing. With you all, we are helping to create a community where children and families have a life free from violence and fear. So thank you all so much. We look forward to being able to present back out to you all our success over the coming year. And thank you so much for being here today, and hope the rest of your day is great. Thank you so much for being here.